Hey there boys and girls, Lucky here and welcome back to another CSGO video. Today I want to talk about getting better with your pistol skills. This video will mainly focus on that, so if you're more into the pistol round specifically, you should wait for that video because it will be another dedicated video just for pistol rounds and what you should buy there and what kind of strats you're doing there. This video, however, will mainly focus on just the pistols in general, on themselves, and how you're basically supposed to play with them. But I would say, let's get right into it. To give you guys a quick heads up, today we're gonna talk about the aiming part of the pistol, so the snap aiming and what helps in order to train that. We'll talk about trigger control, the running accuracy. After that we'll also talk about the movement and how you basically want to dodge bullets, and also how your positioning is going to play into all of that. But I would say, let's start out with the aiming part. And the first tip that I can give you guys for that is basically, you wanna treat your pistol like an AWP, because they're kind of similar in the way they would behave, but at the same time, you wanna aim it like an AK. And by that I mean, of course, with the AWP you wanna make each shot count, because you have the rechamber time. And with the pistols it's somewhat similar, because you cannot just go spray full auto. I mean, you can spray somewhat with them, but they're getting pretty inaccurate, so it's not something that I would recommend to you guys. So at the same time, while playing it like an AWP, you wanna aim it like an AK. And by that I mean, of course, go for the headshots, because the pistols in CSGO, they're extremely strong, especially in the pistol rounds. The pistols are always a one-hit headshot, at least most of them. The Glock will take 2 hits if you're at very long range, but for example the USPS will always be a one-hit headshot. Same goes for most other pistols, so you really want to take advantage of that and always go for the headshot with that. Another thing that you want to do is you want to always close in the distance when you're playing against rifles or AWPs or stuff like that, because the pistols really are the strongest against especially head armor if they're up close, because many of them do kill in one shot up close. For example, like the P250, the Tech 957, many of them do, which makes them extremely viable, and you should never forget that. Another thing that will really make you better is something that you can see in the background right now, and this is basically how you want to train the aim that you're using with your pistol, and that's in free-for-all deathmatch. Mainly pistol-only free-for-all deathmatch or pistol-only, headshot-only free-for-all deathmatch, because in these modes, obviously you're only allowed to use pistols, which will force you to get better and to train those nasty one-taps. So as soon as you started playing free-for-all deathmatch, you also want to try to train yourself with your trigger control, and by that I mean, try to only fire when necessary. Do not spray your pistols. The only time when spraying really becomes viable if you're extremely close up to your enemies, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 meters away or something like that, or if you already know that the enemy has been damaged, so then you should go for body shots if you already know that he's very low and can be killed within like 1 or 2 bullets. Something very important to know about the pistols as well is their running accuracy. The pistols out of most weapons have the best running accuracy, which means that the first shot will be extremely accurate when on the go. So in the background right now you can see me firing at the wall, it does too, and you can also see that the pattern while firing the weapons, or better the pistols at the wall, is extremely tight. Well, besides the deagle obviously. But all the other pistols do benefit a lot while shooting on the go, especially for the first shot. So if you pair that with very good trigger control, you're essentially able to fire a perfect first shot every time, as long as you're not spamming your pistol. And this is another one big factor that makes the pistol so strong in CSGO. Now let's talk a little bit about your movement speed. So obviously you're fastest when you have your knife out and you run with that. However, you're the second fastest if you got your pistols out and you're running with them. So most of the time, when you're just trying to rotate from side to side, do not use your knife, but think about using your pistol instead. You will just be a little slower, but you will also be able to fire and kill the enemies a lot quicker than trying to switch from your knife back to your primary or to your secondary. And since pistols are so fast to use or while on the go, you can also of course make the full use of the AD movements, and by that I mean of course very fast stutter stepping from side to side, which makes you harder to hit, because this is again one of the most essential things that you want to do when trying to use a pistol, because you essentially want to dodge as many bullets as possible. Of course, obviously this also applies for pretty much every other gun. You don't want to get hit by bullets and you want to dodge them. However, since you're so fast with a pistol, you really can make good use of that, especially since they're so accurate on the go. It really enables you to do some crazy stuff with it. This also applies even more to the pistol rounds themselves. Since everyone is trying to go for headshots, you want to try to use as many techniques as possible in order to really prevent that from happening. And by that of course you can, for example, jump. Jumping is usually very inaccurate with many weapons, or better said most weapons. However, pistols, once again, since they have such a good running accuracy, their jumping spray patterns, I would call them, are also very decent and kind of good to use sometimes, especially if you want to try to kind of counter a headshot or mess up with the enemy's crosshair placement, because essentially that's once again the thing that you want to do. You want to try to keep your head moving to as many directions as possible in order not to get killed, and at the same time, since you're very accurate on the go, you will still be able to fire back at them very effectively. So, another thing besides jumping is obviously crouching. Usually, if you crouch, you're a sitting duck, but once again, since you're so fast with a pistol, you can very often use crouch in between your movement in order to kind of throw off, once again, the enemy's headshot aim. So, last but not least, something that's also very important when you're trying to play better with a pistol is your positioning. By that, of course, for one mean the cover play, that you should try to make the fullest out of every piece of cover that you have, alternate the angles, go from side to side, try to make basically the best out of it. Of course, this also applies for every other weapon. However, with pistols again, it's a little different, because you want to play your cover with your positioning in a different way. Usually, you want to try to stay as far away from it as possible in order to maximize your view and to see the enemies first. With pistols, however, if you're really far away, you're not dealing as much damage, so you usually try to stay behind it and just do quick jiggle peeks in order to get some info, and then do some sort of surprise attack as soon as you were able to close in the distance, or as soon as you were able to make them come to you, because obviously, as I said before, if you're up close, your pistol will deal a lot more damage, even against full armored opponents. So to give you guys a really quick summary, what you want to do is you want to basically train your snap aim in FFA deathmatch. You want to basically work on your trigger control, treat it like an AWP but aim it like an AK, make use of the running accuracy as well as your general movement speed with AD movement, try to dodge as many bullets with crouching and jumping and stuff like that, but don't overdo it. It's basically mostly for a pistol round, that tip. And also, last but not least, try to make the best out of your positioning. By that I mean, of course, trying to stay, or better said, closing in distance to your enemies. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you did, feel free to leave a like or show it somehow else. And if you want to see the advanced tutorial with the pistol round specifically and the buys, please let me know in the comment section down below. But thanks so much for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and luckySkillFaker out.